Oh hi. It's you again. Are you going to ask me for permission to do something?
I don't understand you. What do you mean, am I going to ask you for permission to do something?
Well, you keep asking me for permission to do things when you are flying and I am at work as the air traffic controller.
You sound surprised by that, as if I do not need your permission.
In many cases that is true. You do not need my permission. Indeed, not only do you not need my permission, I am actually unable to give it to you when you ask me for it.
What do you mean? Can you give me an example?
Certainly. Earlier today you were flying at 3,000 feet and you requested my permission to descend to altitude 2,500 feet, but you were many miles from the airport.
Oh, yes. I remember that. I was trying to avoid some clouds and needed to descend. So I asked you for permission.
Remember, there are two types of airspace. There is controlled airspace, which is any airspace in classes Alpha through Echo, and there is uncontrolled airspace, in class Foxtrot or Golf. Two types. One has air traffic controllers, such as I, monitoring it, the other one does not, but is kept safe and efficient by the use of standard procedures and the skill of the pilots that fly within it. The controlled airspace is marked on the maps and charts to let you know where it is, and that it is controlled.
Yes, I understand that.
So, at any given time, or point along your route of flight, you must be either inside controlled airspace or outside controlled airspace. There are no other options. You are either inside the areas marked on the maps and charts or you are outside them.
Okay, I still understand. Inside or outside controlled airspace. They are marked on the maps and charts either with symbols, colors or lines.
Exactly. Now when flying inside most controlled airspace, we, the controllers, expect you to either follow standard procedures or follow our specific instructions. In that way, we can keep you safe.
Yes, of course. I understand.
However, when you are outside controlled airspace, or flying VFR within Class Echo controlled airspace, we no longer give you specific instructions, by definition of the fact that you are outside of our control.
Okay.
Likewise, we can neither approve, nor decline, your requests to carry out any particular maneuver.
Okay.
So, if you wish to climb or descend, just do it. You should not ask me for permission, as I cannot grant you permission if you are outside of the airspace that I control, as marked on the maps and charts.
Just do it? Really? You don't want or need to know?
I didn't say that. I said I cannot give, nor deny you, permission to maneuver, but as my controller's mind works in the 4 dimensions of heading, altitude, speed and time, it may be helpful to me if you would simply tell me that you are doing something specific. For example, your descent this morning. In that way, I can visualize in my mind, or on my 2-dimensional radar screen, your proximity to any other aircraft that I may be dealing with, or planning to deal with, as well as yourself.
So you mean I should just tell you that I am doing it and not ask for your permission? I should just say I am descending or I am climbing?
You can still be a little more helpful and precise by telling me the new heights or altitudes involved. Tell me the levels that you are climbing or descending to.
So, if I am at 1,500 feet and wish to climb up to a new level of, say, 3,000 feet, I should say climbing to 3,000 feet.
Close, but not exactly, no. Simply saying climbing to 3,000 feet may be ambiguous and allows the possibility of confusion and uncertainty.
How can that be?
Well, when heard over the radio, the words climbing to 3,000 could have 3 very different meanings. It may mean that you are climbing to the new level of 3,000 feet, but it could also mean that you are climbing to the new level of 23,000, 23,000 feet, or it could also mean that you are going to climb an extra 23,000 feet in addition to the 1,500 feet that you are flying at already. Of course, part of that will depend on your aircraft type, but if all I know is your call sign, then it could be any of them. Only you would know, and that is not good for me.
So how do I let you know which I mean? How can I avoid that possible confusion?
Depending on your altimeter setting, you will be flying at either a height, an altitude, or a flight level, so just add the correct word and say climbing to altitude 3,000 feet, but make it a statement. Do not ask me for permission. You should not, however, use the word to when changing a flight level, only a height or an altitude.
So, if you are working in the tower at Bigfield Airport and I fly from there into the local area and decide to climb, I should transmit on the tower frequency and say Bigfield Tower, November 12345, or Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta is climbing to altitude 3,000 feet.
Very good. Yes. Though I have 2 extra comments. If you have just flown from Bigfield and are already established on my frequency, then you should not call me Bigfield Tower anymore. When talking to an air traffic control unit, whether you are inside or outside controlled airspace, you should not use the ground station call sign on every transmission, only on the initial contact. Once you have established good two-way communication, and no confusion may arise, then you should not use the ground station call sign anymore, just your own.
Okay, so if I have already been talking to you, I should now just say November 12345, or Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta is climbing to altitude 3,000 feet. You said you had 2 comments. What was the other?
Unless you would ever transmit to say that the aircraft is not climbing, then you don't really need to say that it is. So you can also miss out the word is. Just November 12345 or Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta, climbing to altitude 3,000 feet. That would be perfect.
So is it just altitudes that I don't need permission for, or are there other things?
Yes, other things too. If you are not inside controlled airspace, then you should just make a statement that you are doing something. The most common ones are altitude changes and frequency changes. If you are inside controlled airspace, you should ask. If you are outside, then you should just state that you are changing frequency, for example. If you are outside the airspace that your current controller actually controls, then once more it is a statement of fact. Do not request a frequency change, but, at least in Europe, announce your intention by saying Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta changing to next man approach, 123.45.
Okay, thank you. I've learned a lot today.